Okay, let me see if I can get any message or any recording here. Here comes another one of these people that annoys the heck out of me. I just came in out of Horizon, Texas. This one is a municipal cop. The other ones were county cops. I mean, they got nothing better to do than basic, what do they used to call those things? Speed traps. People are out there, their lives are in danger, somebody's trying to kill them, and all these people know how to do is write tickets, patrol the interstate. But I was thinking, I think it's over. I gotta be honest and sincere. I hear these people on the radio, and I stopped listening to conservative radio because I didn't have the energy for it. Am I trying to do anything now? I feel morally obligated to blame you that you don't have to be a Christian, you don't have to believe in God, you don't have to believe in Christ. But the apocalypse has started. I mean, things have been going on in Europe and African nations and Latin American nations, in Canada and Mexico. To imprison people, and you have these idiots. I mean, whatever you call yourself, a liberal or a Democrat, I mean, you're a stupid person if you honestly believe that government is better at living our lives than we are living our lives, and to be so stupid as to believe in global warming and social justice. There's a God, there's a heaven. All sinners, including homosexuals, are going to have to, win or lose according to the system of justice of God. And if you think that, you have to, or by, again, this political correctness is going to save you, I'm sorry, it's not going to save you. But I was thinking, down the road, what's voting? What's the value of voting? What's the reason to vote? I mean, the city I live in, the principles of the United States of America, the constitutional principles, individual freedoms and liberties are violated every day. And the people of El Paso are just so ignorant, so stupid, so uninformed that one, they don't know that they are losing freedom, liberty, and independence. And two, it's not their problem. They're not going to stand up and fight. So if there's another, vote for a mayor, vote for city representatives, vote for that ugly idiot Samaniego, I mean, and I'll call him whatever I want to call him. America's about freedom. The individuals in charge, not these idiot politicians, these so-called elected people. they messed up on COVID. A lot of people don't believe anything they're saying because they said one thing, and then they said another thing, and then they said another thing. And if you look at the statistics, if you look at the numbers, and we don't want to reduce the life of our neighbors to statistics, but if you look at the statistics, it's not a serious crisis. It's not something that you close economies down for. It's not something you take people's businesses away, ruin their lives, leave them with a whole bunch of debt that they're never going to be able to pay back. People had dreams. The only dreams that matter are the dreams of the mayor, of the governor, of the stupid politicians. That's the only life that matters now. And the idiots who they say they're trying to help, I have nothing in common with homosexuals. I have nothing in common with people who want to kill unborn babies or kill them after they're born. Nothing in common with them. There's nothing in common with stupid people who don't understand the value of freedom, liberty, and independence. We need to be in charge of our lives I have nothing in common with people who do drugs, people who fornicate, people who don't plan life, people who don't plan their family, who are just out there like some stupid leaf just blowing back and forth. But these governors and these mayors and these county judges and county representatives, they're going to have to run for re-election, and they're going to have to run on what they did. They're going to have to explain why they treated people the way they treated, why they called people unessential, non-essential, why they just decided that 20% of the participants in the economy were worth nothing, were nothing but garbage. I don't think you should be waiting around for a miracle. There's not going to be some Supreme Court win. I told somebody that God's not going to save you. I didn't mean it in a bad way. It's just that there's no salvation for this kind of tyranny, this kind of betrayal, this kind of fraud, this kind of evil. There's so much evidence. There's so much evidence of what happened. And I know people are talking about the judges who are not taking the cases that the Donald Trump lawyers are putting into the court system. I know it's a complete conspiracy with judges, no matter at what level they're at, whether it's the state Supreme Court or even the Supreme Court. Because there's no relief, there's no remedy at the American Supreme Court. I mean, I've sort of been paying attention. I've been out of it, but who is it? The three people, well, the two Supreme Court judges before the last one that Trump got approved, they betrayed conservatives and Trump within a week of sitting on the Supreme Court bench. Same thing for John Roberts, who was put in by George W. Bush. That one seems to love to stick it to conservatives. So exactly, who do you trust? I don't trust the governor of Texas. He works for the filthy rich who run the government. So does the lieutenant governor, and so does the members of the Texas House, and everybody down there. Controllers and whatever it is, they're all in the pocket of rich people. Every single last one of them. Senators, U.S. senators in Texas, U.S. senators in New York, Florida, doesn't matter. It's a game, it's a hustle. It's all they know how to do. And I'm just so surprised at people that, what does it take to stop being a chump? They're your pimps and you're their whores. And you just keep taking it. And taking it and taking it and taking it. And here you literally have been left with nothing. They stole the presidency from you. They stole the Senate from you. They stole the House of Representatives a long time ago. You have nobody in government. You don't have sheriff's departments. You don't have the county sheriff. You don't have the police chief. They're not on your side. They'll do whatever the politicians order them to do. So who the hell is going to protect you? You don't have yourself because you're a coward. You're weak. I mean, I'm sorry. But by now, you should have let people know who you are. And here comes another one. Nothing to do but spend their time on the interstate looking for traffic violations. This one is a city municipal cop. See if it passes by. There it goes. Trying to look for another citation to give. So when this happened, you had you had the force to enforce. You could have used your collective unity, all 75 million out on the street demonstrating. Not to mention throwing a couple of monkey wrenches into the machine, blocking off roads, not letting any anything move, not showing up to work, having workers' strikes. Saying that hell with you, we're not going to work. Letting them know that you're alive and well and you're out here kicking and you're going to be a fierce force to reckon with. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything at all. Oh, wait for the Supreme Court. Oh, let Trump's lawyers do it. But when something is rigged against you, it's rigged against you. When there's a conspiracy against you, there's a conspiracy against you. And they own everything. They own the Secretary of State. They own the people in charge of voting, the voting area, the counting. They own everything. You own nothing. You've lost everything. I just don't know what the hell you're waiting for to get ready for a fight. One of the things that's pissing me off, listening to these people on the radio, everyone but Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is golden. I have no problem with Rush Limbaugh. I have a big problem with little Glenn Beck. I heard Glenn Beck today tell people not to join organizations, protest organizations. Who the hell is that guy working for? The only thing you're going to have is to monkey up the monkey works. Everybody decide to meet on the interstate at the same time and no traffic moves. And if the cop shows up, you start smacking them around. Until you stand up, and you're not going, that's the sad part. That's when I said, I'm just too exhausted. It's too much to watch these people who have no fight in them. I mean, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh when that man called and started crying. It's not the time to start crying. It's time to start kicking. It's time to start punching. It's time to start shooting people. It's time to let your presence known. It's time to take to the streets. Say the hell we're going to be ruled by you. You got to show them what you're going to do to them if they get out of hand. 75 million is a strong force. Can stand very strong against the United States military, can stand very strong against all armed federal employees, all police, all sheriff. You don't got the fight in you. I'm sorry. This is not something where you wait for the next voting season. You don't wait for 2 years. You don't wait for 4 years for Trump to come back. They just stole an election from you. From now on, who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them doing anything they want? I mean, you just don't get it. You must not get it. Oops. There I go again, in the curve. Why'd they put that stupid curve there for? You honestly just don't get it. You're never going to win another election again. It's going to be Democrat rule forever. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do a damn thing about it. You got no fight in you. This is where you forget politics as usual. This is where you accept reality. This is where you realize they're coming to get you, and if you do not defend yourself, you're screwed. It's not hard to understand that these Democrats have no concept of freedom, liberty, and independence. They have that concept for themselves. They have no problem believing that they can live their lives the way they want to. Here's another one. There he goes. Another city cop going to go give a citation. It's probably the same one. Yep, rushing to pick him up. And I'm sorry, I mean, I thought maybe I could help, and tweet some articles, some information, some things that people need to know. But I meditated on it and I thought about it, what little energy I had, and I said, these so-called Trump supporters haven't the slightest idea what just happened to them. Well, while you were away, somebody came into your home and took all your weapons and all your bullets and left you with nothing to defend yourself with. Because you have nothing. You don't have the Supreme Court. You don't have the House of Representatives. You don't have the Senate. You don't have the presidency. You don't have the governors. You don't have the state houses. You don't have the counties. You don't have the municipalities. You don't have the sheriffs, you don't have the police chief, you have nothing. You don't even have yourself, because you don't even know what's going on. You can't even face reality that you just got screwed big time. That they just stole all power away from you. They're in charge. And you just better shut up or else. I don't see any fight in any of you. I hear you calling talk radio. I just don't see any fight in any of you. This is armed revolution time. This is where you do what George Washington did. They were not afraid to fight. They were not afraid to put it on the line. When George Washington led his troops onto the battlefield, he was fully aware that he was going to die. Nobody walks onto a battlefield under the foolish assumption there nothing can harm them. You know the end. You get ready for it. What's next? I have the slightest idea what's next. I really don't. I mean, well, no, I know exactly what's next. It's total democratic rule, and it's screw every conservative, screw every Christian, screw everybody who doesn't believe like they believe. And what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything about it. So, I mean, the only thing is, if you're as disgusted as I am by the lack of response, by people who just don't know how to fight, don't know how to accept reality, you start planning for the inevitable. There's not going to be Fox News. There's not going to be, Glenn Beck's not going to keep his little company, and he's not going to keep his little life and his little money, you know, and keep living as is under the tyranny of Biden and the Kamala Harris. You know, this is where things fall apart. This is where Venezuela was a small failure. The United States of America has around 350 million people. That's going to be a very large failure. Because these idiots, even with a $27 trillion national debt, can't seem to understand that you just don't spend any more money. It's the only thing that Obama was worth. Obama was worth $12 trillion of the taxpayers' money because he doubled the national debt. And I sit here and reflect on it. It all started with him. There was a slight interference with Trump, but what do we see? 4 years of Trump was nothing but Democrats and Republicans who owe their allegiance to the rich people doing everything possible to interfere with Trump and the Trump agenda. At what point in time do you realize who the heck your enemy is? An idiot Chinese Wang Su or Mungu or whatever said, know your enemy. Do you know your enemy? I think the enemy of the conservative. Oh, look at this guy learning to drive. Really, they're hiring. FedEx is hiring people in the private vans to deliver, and they can't even drive for the winter rush. So it has to be said, you know. I guess they have a moral obligation to tell people to prepare for the end. Get ready to go into the mountains. Man, I'm sorry if you don't like what I've said, but all I see is a bunch of wimpish, woozy, crybaby behavior.